work out. I will remake this later because I feel like this is important and this is an angle that I, as well as anybody who's willing to help with this cause, should go at strongly. That you shouldn't go at for many others. Anyways, I first want to say Aaron Atz has been making some great content lately. I apologize for insinuating he might have been on their side, but I think it's clear after especially his last several shorts. I'm not saying he was taking my advice. I'm just saying I had like recommended making maybe possibly, excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't have my tripod too. Sorry for the shaking. Some more succinct content that clearly stated the egregious acts that Titus Morris has committed and why he shouldn't be allowed around people and children. And he's done that. He's done a great job of that. Except I don't agree with him telling other people that they should go, that the thing they should do is go and ask Titus's neighbors about him. Like, do that if you want to. But I just don't agree with like recommend that for people. I'm a 105-pound woman with all this hair soaking wet. I am underweight now after a major abdominal surgery, okay, like 4 months ago. I'm not bragging about that weight. I'm very petite. I don't feel safe going to Crazy County. A coworker last night, I swear to God, I swear on my life, this new coworker of mine, we started talking about people in general. And I told her about my son's first experience in the first small town Kentucky school and how they were made fun of. And she told me she knew somebody in there, you know, they call Casey County Crazy County because there's just so many mean people there. There's like so many people of God. There's a church everywhere you turn. At the same time, there's like, it's full of bullies. It is a kind of place, and I felt emboldened to say this. I've said it before. It's the kind of place that gives all of Kentucky a bad name. Not saying that all people in Casey County are bad, okay? The best mod, Mr. Carey, he's in Casey County. So I'm like, I don't want to say this towards you, especially Mr. Carey. I think you know me better than that by now. I think literally like generalizations or absolutes about anything is ever correct. So I'm not saying all of Casey County is evil, bad, corrupt, but I'm saying like it is called Crazy County and neighboring counties around it. Retouch on. I did not mean to put retouch on, and I don't know how to turn it off. Oh no, I do look extra filtered. Okay. My son is out here playing with me, and I didn't want him to show. So, like, if I would jump around all weirdly, I swear I'm not manic or like on something. But anyways, you used to be petite when you were 8. So I wanted to say this is all Peter Santinella's fault. If Peter Santinella would stop featuring Titus Morris, then he would get a lot less traction on YouTube. Like we could see his channel was like getting less views as it should. Like the biggest channel, they've got like 4, which is fine. That's their choice, you know. But it's just like all their multiple GoFundMe's, right? It's like a lot of people have 2, even 3 YouTube channels. Once again, I don't recall ever seeing somebody with 4. And but once again, that's just me being picky, right? The main focus is he is, in my opinion, this is like why I started making content about him. People aren't safe around him, especially young and vulnerable people, and animals aren't safe. He has this track record. He's proven time and time again. And it's like Peter Santinello needs to, I just wonder if almost they signed a contract or something. Like, I don't understand why he would leave the content on as long as is he not aware of the situation? He's aware enough to put in a comment on each of his Titus videos that there has been something occurring and Titus went to court, and like it's like he has to know. I don't think he probably knows all the details you or I that know about exactly like them getting married. He has to know though. Like, but if he's not, it's his fault for sticking his head in the sand. And this is a reason why you need to be so careful with your content. If you do make it, if you do feature people, you never know who you might be giving a platform to and who you might be giving like more access to more supply. And like, I say that in like not just a perverted kind of way, but like in a narcissistic supply kind of way. Like I really do believe with all my heart, he's definitely a cult leader. He's a kind of narcissist that would start a cult, in my opinion. And so Peter Santinello is a really big YouTuber. If you don't know who he is, I don't know who to compare him to easily. He does a lot of travel content. He features people. He'll go to places like rural places often, and usually is interviewing somebody that's from there. I really like Peter's content. And Peter is how most people found Titus Morris. Now, Titus already had a YouTube channel at the time. That's, I'm assuming, how Peter came across him. I don't know exactly. It's one thing that somebody said recently, like, in a comment I saw on Aaron's channel, let them know how Peter found him. I'm like, why would that matter? But I'm interested too. I just assumed it was YouTube. And once again, I want to say now there's more people in here. I think Aaron's been doing a great job with the Titus Morris content, like being like succinctly saying like he has done this. This is why, like, especially children. Like, I love seeing other people, somebody other than me, bring up the fact that, like, this is his past with children. And this is why, like, I feel very strongly once a man has done things like Titus Morris has done with children present, they should never be trusted around children again. It's so bad. Like, you have to be pure evil, in my opinion. You have to be pure evil in order to steal innocence from children. Okay. And I'm sorry, I'm not saying hi. Hi, Krishna. Hi, extraterrestrial. You're 260. Oh, I accidentally filtered my face. Let me see if I can figure out how to take. Okay, retouch off. I just did it. Retouch on, retouch off. Oh, it's really not that huge of a deal. Look, my eye bags get like 5% worse. Anyways, um, so I saw Aaron's video about the dog. Now I forget the dog's name. It was, like, so like, it's like if anything could get worse, if this could be made any worse, it would be this, you know? And I've mentioned this before, there's a problem with stray animals. There's a problem. When I started Instacarting, particularly around Casey County, Adair County, right next door, Columbia is a small town that has a if you Instacart around Kentucky, it's like one of those sweet spots where they don't have a lot of full-time Instacart shoppers, so therefore, same thing as Russell Springs next door, underneath Casey County. So and I learned quickly when I started doing that that like there is a lot of more stray animals than you will ever see in a city. Like it is insane. And like in my opinion, Stephanie and Titus could do better by all their animal neighbors and start to spay and neuter them. And I know from experience, Liberty Vet is one of the cheapest vets, probably the cheapest vet we've ever been to. The last vet we went to in Indiana was this guy that like took care of the Amish people. He wasn't Amish himself, but he was like super duper good low prices. I trusted him too. It was an older vet. And so we seek out, you know, cheaper places. I've learned to look where there is a lot of Amish, look up the vet there. Even if it's an hour away for some people like us, we're so poor, like we couldn't afford to take our our animals to the vet in the county we live in, you know? So I know for a fact Liberty Vet is extremely cheap. Our cat we have right now, after we rescued him, we had everything done you could have done. Like he was neutered, he got his rabies shot, he defleed, dewormed, spent a night there, got a bath because he was an outdoor cat when we found him. And so he got all that done. I am not kidding, guys, for like $180 at the Liberty County Vet. Like, I'm not kidding. Liberty Vet. I believe it's Liberty. That's what it's called. Like the Liberty Veterinarian Hospital or something like that. It's on Houston Street in Liberty, Casey County. So once again, I know I'm all over the place. I just thought it was really funny when my coworker and I started just like talking about how people in Kentucky can be. She's born and raised, you know, in the county that I work, a little north, not a little north, but you know, not Casey County. And it was just so funny to me when she's like, yeah, we call it crazy county because people there are crazy. And I was like, well, that's the vibe I got. Like the literal only time I ever had to be like, am I supposed to be here? Like somebody like giving me the dirtiest freaking look you could give a delivery driver. And I'm just like, am I okay? Is this your house? Are you okay with me dropping your groceries off on your porch? Because you're making me feel like I'm not welcome here, even though you ordered groceries from. And that was in Casey County. It's just funny. I have hundreds and hundreds. I've done Instacart all over southern Indiana, Louisville, Lexington, everywhere between Louisville and Lexington, all over southern Indiana. I've never had somebody make me feel so uncomfortable as this guy in Casey County, Kentucky. I'm just saying. That's the kind of people that live there that do live there more per capita than a lot of small town Kentucky. I highly recommend going to places, not just a university, a bigger university. But around there. Yes, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. You're probably going to only be able to afford like an acre, even though you want 20, right? But if you have like dark hair and a ethnic looking nose, oh God forbid, you know, you had children with an olive skin toned man who's also 25% Hispanic. So our children are 25% Hispanic, just like both of us are. You know, yeah, you might, and honestly, I know it's true racism and prejudice, but I think a lot of it is just, it's mostly ignorance. It's that tribal mentality. You aren't from around here. I don't know what they expect, like the same families to just stay here forever. Like they don't even think that far. You know, it's pure hatred and ignorance. And like, it's dumb. It's just dumb. It makes no sense. And she told me, you know, she knew somebody that went to school there and his sisters ended up homeschooling because they were made fun of so badly because they were mixed race. And I don't want to share this young man's story, but he has issues to this day. And maybe it's from growing up in a place like Casey County where, everybody, a lot of people there want to say it's God's country. And it is amazingly beautiful. Well, land is really cheap for a reason. There's no opportunity. The less opportunity there is in a place for a longer time. And Diamond in the Stick, she's another YouTuber. She lives in Eastern Kentucky. It's the same thing. It's absolutely devastating what's happened to so much of Kentucky. It's so beautiful. The natural resources are so abundant in so many ways. But however, when, there's a lack of opportunity and resources in other ways other than the natural resources, people resort to the rugs. And that's a huge issue. And it's like torn communities apart. That, increases the crime. And it's just interesting to me. Like, I think it has always been a thing. That's why it's a stereotype. There are people that have never left the county lines their whole lives, and anybody that crosses those county lines from somewhere else is going to be an outsider to them, and they are going to look down upon them and try to make their lives miserable. There's a lot of corruption in Kentucky coming to light with the Litchfield case where the sheriff shot the judge, and it's all of our country. But I'm not surprised that it's coming to light in Kentucky, just like the organ donation thing I talked about a few weeks ago. I'm not surprised because people here, I don't want to say it's like they have nothing to lose. They have less to lose in a certain kind of way. It's more of this like grounded, mentality with more people. I'm sitting here talking out both ends of my mouth. I get it. You will feel the vibe if you're interested in moving to Kentucky, and you can really travel around, visit different places. Like, I knew as soon as I went to Manchester, Kentucky, no offense, Clay County, no offense, Manchester people, I knew I was never going to live there because of how a lot of it, you can judge a book by its cover. Okay, guys? Okay. Oh, Titus 2, Jesus girl, I'm glad you're here. How are you doing today? What if the whole world collapsed, and what do you do about your animals? I don't know exactly what you mean by that, F. Recently, we got an SUV that would be big enough for like all of us, our dogs, and our chickens, because I was concerned with all the flooding going on and everything. We don't live too far from a river ourselves that we might need to evacuate. And I know that's not like a 100% guarantee in every situation, just having a big enough vehicle, but that's one thing that did make me feel better. Um, but yeah, I really appreciate you mods. Thank you. So I F the world ain't collapsed. Right. And yeah, so the state of that dog, like there could be a few reasons why a dog is that skinny. If you didn't see, it only had like 200 some views before I started this video. Aaron Atz, beyond category, he's been doing a great job lately. I'll give credit where credit's due, making content about Titus, the fraud, everything about Titus, and including things that you or I wouldn't know if we haven't personally visited there. So he showed footage. I believe he uploaded it today. And within 37 minutes of him uploading it, I was just like, I'm not subscribed to his channel. I just had a feeling to look. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is, yeah, I cried. I hate seeing animals like that. Like a lot of, they're just like children. And it makes perfect sense to me that Titus, in my opinion, allegedly would neglect and abuse animals, neglect them to the point of starvation, or they have an obvious problem with parasites. Something is going on with that dog. That dog needs to see a veterinarian ASAP. That dog is not doing well at all. How could you see a dog walking around and be okay with that? It's just like when you hear about how the Amish people mistreat their horses. And it's like, it's a common thing when it comes to these people that believe that animals don't have souls the same way that humans do. And that's a problem, especially when they're some of like the biggest stewards of animals and the last farmers we had. There's not nearly as many Amish farmers as there used to be. If you weren't aware of that, there's like a lot of them used to be farmers. Now barely any of them are. But they're so disturbing. If you were okay with the fact that Titus Morse repented from committing bestiality for over 10 years, well into adulthood, for getting nude in front of children on more than one occasion, for talking a child 12 years old into being an assistant of sorts during an attempted circumcision of him, that ended up him going to the hospital. He bled so badly. It has to be documented. For some strange reason, he was not charged with anything. But if you or I were to pull down our pants and start cutting on our foreskin in front of a 12-year-old child, I'd like to hope we'd be charged with something, If none of that bothers you, or the fact that he repented is what makes it all okay with you now, explain to me that starving dog. Explain to me the skeletal dog on his property. How is that okay with you? What makes that okay? Is that just the way we treat animals now when we're godly and closer to God, and teaching other people how to be closer to God? I can't. I can't. As I already mentioned, Liberty Vet is extremely cheap. We're over an hour away from them. We still go to them. Of course, if there was an emergency situation, I think I would, I mean, I think they're closer than an emergency vet anyway, but they might not be open, you know? Snake bites is something I really worry about when it comes to dogs. I'm a part of a snake bite group on Facebook. I've learned a lot from. The top experts in our country don't recommend the snake vaccines for dogs, just so you know, if you weren't aware of that. Well, about every other vaccine, but you know, like, I just thought that was interesting. They make a freaking snake bite vaccine. But anyways, so that's something I'm always like really wary of is a snake bite because that can be serious. And our dogs are giant, but it helps a little bit. But still, I haven't found any venomous snakes on this property. I found some great giant rat snakes and garter snake. It wasn't a king snake. I know king snakes are a sign that there are venomous snakes, but it was not a king snake. I know my snakes. That's another Facebook group I joined. Facebook has been so helpful in that aspect. Insects, amphibians, snakes. I've learned a lot, and it helps me not only learn, but kind of like a exposure therapy to get over certain fears. Blue Skies Vienna. Did I miss something? Is Santenello buddies with Titus again? No, I'm just saying it's all his fault that Titus still gets as much traction as he does, in my opinion. I don't think they get nearly as much traction as they do if it wasn't for him, and he needs to take his Titus content down. And I don't know if the tag tagged. It didn't look like it highlighted to me, but I want to keep trying to like highlight and tag him in things because clearly Peter knows, in my opinion, he knows enough of the situation that he should have already done this. But like, what do we need to do? Like start a petition or something? Does he not know the details because he is like this busy big shot, you know, that's like traveling all over the place? Let's be real. Like he's the person I made the shorts of. If you haven't seen my shorts, it's my favorite shorts where I'm making fun of how people, a YouTuber comes to Appalachia and they're like, oh, it's so beautiful around here. Everything's so beautiful. People are so friendly. I mean, in a way I've never experienced. Like people really care here. People are the friendliest people I've ever met here. Wait, what's that nice house over there? Why is a nice house? You mean like people live here like on purpose? It's like you sit there and explain everything that's so great about the area, but then you're still surprised when you see somebody with some amount of money chose to live here. Yeah. So I personally, in my opinion, I think Peter just looks down on most people. He barely has any women in his content. That might have something to do with his wife. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you know, maybe that's prerogative more so. But like I noticed that, you know, he barely ever has women. Same thing with Aaron. I'm just saying we're 50% of the population. You're like walking around and interacting with all sorts of people. It's really interesting to me when a man like barely interacts with women, especially Peter, because he has such a big channel where all he does is walk around interacting with people. But anyways, yes, I'm married. I need to like just like put that in a t-shirt, put it on a pin it on my shirt. It's another thing. Sorry. Like if I see an attractive man, number one, I'm not attracted to him. I can admit when somebody's handsome, but I'm not attracted to anybody but my husband. But like the last thought on my mind is like, is he married? I don't know. I just can't imagine living life like that. So yeah, the point is Aaron Atz, once again, this is like the fourth time I'm saying this, has made some great content, shorts, calling out the fraud, fraudulent accusations, allegedly, supposedly. He caught on to the GoFundMe, adding $77,000 worth of labor. Like, you're not going to explain that. I'm assuming the $60,000 poured concrete foundation, that included the labor. You know, I know concrete is expensive. Once again, poured concrete foundation. They got the most expensive foundation possible. And I love like the cedar. I think it's cedar plank walls inside. I think that's a really nice touch. I think that's really beautiful and lovely, and they don't deserve it, frankly. But yeah, it's really upsetting what Aaron has brought to light. I wanted to get it once again, and I apologize for saying I think he might be on Titus's side. I don't think he is, and you know, he could always be wrong. But I just feel like he's said too much. He's brought too much to light at this point for that to be the truth, right? I still have no interest in working with him or giving him my government name, my phone number. I don't give that shit even to like Anna, and I talk to her on a regular basis. I have a lot going on. I have a lot on my plate, and I do have a lot to lose. I'm not like those freaks over in Crazy County. I'm sorry, I'm not. But anyways, I have full confidence. I think that this all happened for a reason. I think we all came together as a community for a reason. I mentioned this before in a live stream. I want to keep doing it in all my live streams. I would love to get a donated RV or single wide trailer. We have plenty enough space on our property. I could go show you where I think there was a single wide before, and it still has the water meter because we have 2 water meters. Anyways, we have a well that's not in use. It just needs a well pump. I would love to help somebody out and make it into YouTube content. YouTube is the way to pay for it. Like, that would be so much fun to me. Me and my husband, we love that stuff. It's more experience for ourselves. Like, we're just like do-it-yourselfers. We don't have a lot of money to do it all on our own all the time, though. But it has served us well, and that's, anyways, it's a whole other story, talking about like all the things we did to our homes. Having one income, especially, like, you can become a homeowner, you can fix your house up, and you can gain a lot from the equity. And anybody now that's like I keep saying, we couldn't afford to rent what we own. Like, that's not right. That's not fair to anybody. Like, people that are homeowners need to like have a heart and realize that. Like, if you have a little bit of extra land, if you have the ability to maybe help somebody out, I've seen people don't like have free trailers, because there's a lot of people that buy, especially over in Crazy County, about an hour away. They buy land that already has a single wide on it, and they buy that land to, put a house on it, a better trailer on it, or modular home. And they just want it to get rid of it. And they're like, I don't care what you just take it. If you can take it, you can have it for free. Livable residences. And I see people like Resilient Jenkins, this viral family that's living in a hotel in Portland, Oregon. It's like, I know you won't get like a free meal ticket the same in Central Kentucky, but if you're making any sort of money and you can establish yourself and not have a rental or mortgage payment, wouldn't that be like what would be the best thing for any of us to try to do to ever get ahead? I'm sorry, I'm not looking at the chat, you guys. Oh no, who needs a timeout? Hey, Jesus. Jesus was blocked. I'm sorry to hear that, Jesus. Maybe I should take a look at the blocked list, because if I would have seen that, I would have unblocked you, Jesus, because I remember you. But I'm not saying anything. Like, I appreciate my mods so much, and I'm never going to tell them to like not do what they do, because they do a great job at helping. And I hope you can understand they have a lot to deal with, a lot of spammers and stuff. So if you accidentally get removed or blocked, or if they take your comment the wrong way or whatever, I'm sorry about that. But it's everybody else's fault more than theirs. Talk more on the property. Tommy Lee, exactly what do you want to know? We have over an acre. Most of it is cleared. The woods behind me, like, it does go back, like, I don't know, like 20 feet into the woods, but we don't have a lot of woods. To my right, I haven't shown you guys that. I've shown you like the left side of the property is where we garden. That's where that is where the well is. But it's to the right is where we have an extra water meter and I believe an electric pole. I mean, it is an electric pole. I'm so dense. But it doesn't have an electric meter on it. However, I've looked into like sometimes it only costs like $500 to add an RV meter to your electric meter. If you like, so anyways, there's all sorts of possibilities. We ourselves lived off grid for 11 and a half months before we moved into this property, and we would love to live off grid again. We just are like, going to take the lessons we learned and do it right next time. But anyways, so I really do believe we're here to be in service of others. I know that, like, as selfish as it sounds, like the most joy I've ever felt was from like truly helping others. Making money is nice. Ideally, you make money and help others. That's the absolute best feelings. I made weighted blankets for several years. No better feeling on the planet than having somebody tell me that their child couldn't sleep until they got a weighted blanket, and they simply couldn't afford it until they found me, because that was what my goal was. I was the first person to offer weighted blankets on the internet for under $200, and I mean like 5 pounds, $200. I sold that for 60. So anyways, I think my little honey man is getting tired of hearing me talk. I just want to reiterate that I believe that at this point, YouTuber Peter Santenello is he is enabling Titus Morris. He is enabling Titus Morris with somebody with a horrible past to be able to prey possibly on other people and at least have a supply as far as narcissistic supply. If you don't know what that is, that means this person feeds off of like the energies of others. Is the best way to like easily say it. But my weighted blanket is laying on my lap and purring. Titus. Oh, I love that. Yes, and their purrs really do have like healing frequencies supposedly. Oh my gosh, my husband rolled this huge stump over here and is burning the stump, and I almost tripped over. That would have been funny YouTube content. Yes, Peter should take down those videos. So I'm like, what should we do? Should we like make a live, even if it's a 5-minute live every single day, tagging Peter in it until he like gets program? Should we start a petition? I haven't started a petition because like to do a change.org petition, you have to use your full government name, and I'm not ready to do that yet. So, anyways, I completely expecting one day, it's the kind of problems you like to have if you ever get big enough and doxxed or whatever. Like, it's like how I look at it. It's the kind of problems you like to have. I have 2 mastiffs. One's half guardian breed, and he barks at anything that moves. He is the most protective dog I've ever been in the presence of. I'm just saying. And anyways, we're just like most Kentuckians. We have all sorts of protection, if you catch my drift. Any ghosts on the property, Kingsley said. Not that I know of. But I have spoken a lot about, we're like in the foothills of Appalachia, and I've grown around a lot of forests. I've spent a lot of time in the woods, between Indiana and Florida. And I really do feel like when you get that feeling like something's near you, something's behind you. I feel that so much here in the woods. And even driving. I've never felt that driving around forested hills of any other area, if that makes any sense. And I have gotten pretty creepy feelings along 95 real late at night driving in between Fort Lauderdale and Orlando, because there's a stretch of 95 that's like pitch black dark. And I think, in my opinion, that has a lot to do with it. It's not just, it is the history, but it's also the lack of electronic frequencies and that kind of pollution that helps us maybe see or feel things that are already there, always there. But I did learn this interesting fact that like when a forest is left alone and not logged, trees will naturally fall. And this was in our last forest. There was a lot of this, and their roots come up out of the ground and create these like hills, and it's called like a mound and pit or something like that. And, like, that's one way to tell a forest hasn't been logged ever or in a long, 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 long time. And I was just thinking, like, what if that's what the foothills of Appalachia are? What if the hills are giant, giant, like way more giant than you could ever fathom? Like, I mean, like a million times bigger than a sequoia, like redwood, whatever. Giant trees that fell over because, I don't know. There's like mountains that some people say are like petrified trees. Anyways, I think that's all really interesting. If animals were super gigantic and huge, you know, fauna, trees were too. Okay, I'm not even sorry, guys. I was just all worked up. So once again, Aaron Atz has a lot of good Titus content. I really recommend going over there, checking out, subscribing. Yes, I'm promoting his channel because he is doing right by the community, I feel like. And I apologize. Mr. Carey chose to move to Casey County. Not everybody that chooses to live there or has grown up there is a bad person. Don't ever believe in absolutes when it comes to anything. That's one thing I've learned about life, and that's one thing I want anybody that follows me to know. Like, I'm never speaking in absolutes. But it was just funny to me that this coworker started talking to me about Casey County. We're not really near it at work. And then, she's like, she just called it Crazy County. And I was like, are you talking about Casey County? That was so funny to me. And where we lived at in southern Indiana, it was kind of the same gist. There was a county near us that was a lot more rural. They didn't have a Walmart. They had to come to our town to go to Walmart. It was like the exact same thing. Anytime you saw anybody with that county license plate, it was like, oh, no, no, county. And I actually could give it away. Maybe I should. They had the highest rate of one of the worst diseases you could have in the country for a while. Somebody will probably figure that out. But um, anyways, food costs rise again. Never speaking in absolutes is an absolute. Kenny, you got me there. You got me there. But yeah, the point is, Aaron has some great content up. We need to do whatever we can to go at Peter. I believe if he had hundreds, thousands of people going at him every day, it would make a difference. And that's what we need to do. If you don't want to like get on live, build up a YouTube channel, I completely understand that. But we all could use our, YouTube handles or whatever. And if he had this influx of people that every single day were coming after him, maybe we could really make a difference then by doing that. Because I know the way he probably sees it, like channels like mine and Aaron's, it's like they're just like creating drama, trying to get views and make money off of talking about drama. And yeah, I'd like to think if he really understood how serious the situation was and exactly the kind of harm he might be putting people in, that he would feel differently, that he would be like, oh yeah, once again, he chose to take Titus off of his shirts, off of his merchandise. Why would he have him on his channel at all? At all? Like, And I know there's good Christians, like, I live near them, I prefer to live near a good Christian, really, honestly, so I don't wanna come off as, like, I'm talking about all religious people, there's plenty of Christians that are just as mortified at Titus's actions and the fraudulent actions, everything is I am. I'm sorry, Hassan, I don't think I can. Speak slowly. Gail, I remember you. Yes, a daily chat to ask Peter Santinella to remove or caution his Titus content sounds gold. Good. Good or gold. Maybe put his name in the caption to hopefully catch the attention online. Right. I tried to tag him in this, but it didn't highlight. Like usually when you put an at in somebody's name, maybe I spelled his name wrong, but it will turn blue, and I don't believe it turned blue. Thank you, Gail. I hope you're doing well. How are you? And hi, Tommy Lee. Hi, man. Am I seeing that right? Yeah, man with a plan. Hi, Corey. Um, email me and remind me about the petition. I might have a solution. Okay, Titus, Jesus girl, if you're still here, I think you did you say bye to somebody else or are you saying bye yourself? Exactly, Mr. Carey. You're the good cop and I'm the mean one. Jesus girl said. Yes, Peter should take down the videos. Okay, I'm not going to scroll up any further in the chat. I see you. It's like he was meaning, he thought you were going to lose your breath. I'm out for ICU. Oh, I just went to make sure what I thought he didn't mean it in a mean way. Oh, okay. No, I know I can talk fast. Like my video yesterday, I re-listened to it this morning and I put it on 2 speed. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't listen to it on 2 speed. I have to put this on normal speed. But that's because I was worked up because I'm tired of people with a ton of money telling the rest of us to just buy more houses. It's stupid. The average homeowner's age, okay, in 2007, the homeowners were born in 1958. I don't know how else to say it, or was it 58? And this year, 2000, or last year, 2024, the average homeowner was still born in 1958. It's the same people buying houses over and over because you all grew up in some of the best economies ever. You had a sweet spot, and instead of like recognizing how lucky you were, because it's just pure luck being born in the right place at the right time, really, you're going to turn around and tell the rest of us, this is how you do it. This is how you build your empire. When it's like, no, you're just telling yourself that because deep down inside, you know what's going on is wrong. You know that it's really wrong that there's people that go and like make $2,500, $3,000 a month busting their asses with repetitive movements, providing you all the conveniences you use every day, and instead of like admitting a lot of people work harder than you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like anybody could do what I did with some hard work. Like, no, you got to live during some of the best economies. Okay, I better get going now. I will get on here later though, and I don't know exactly what time. I think I will try to shoot for the regular like 9:30-ish time. My son wants to see his chickens. He wants to go in the chicken coop. In the chicken run, not the coop. Don't mind my name. Is it fire or not? Yo, mom. Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm a 90s kid, so yo, mom jokes are always going to be funny to me. So, yeah, once again, Aaron's videos, especially that one, it didn't have a lot of views. It just had like 260, 290 views before I popped on here 33 minutes ago with a like emaciated dog. What gives? Anybody who still supports Titus, what does he have to do? MURDER somebody? Sorry, I'm a little slow. Anyways, I love you all. I hope you have a great night. I'm glad I got to chat with you for a little bit, Jesus girl. Lucky isn't interested. No hating on the creator. Don't do it again. I'll mute you. Thank you, Jesus girl. Hi, Cameron. I'm just now getting off of here, but I appreciate everybody tuning in for a half hour. I'll see you later in about 7 hours, I hope. But I don't know exactly. Maybe he has already. But yeah, really recommend Aaron's recent content, especially if you want to share stuff with somebody. Like, there's just so much going on. Like, there's so much, right? It started with the Peter Santenello, and then it was Stephanie moving there, sight unseen. I'm assuming it was sight unseen, whatever, uprooting her family, and then it just being platonic for years, and then them getting married within months of her divorce being final. And the only repercussion he's really had to suffer is not being allowed around her children. I mean, I'm glad that that's a thing, but like, if that's a thing, why isn't it a thing across the board? Why are these 3 children the only ones that should be protected from him? Anyways, there's a lot wrong with Kentucky. I don't mean to make it sound like it's a perfect place. Love you all. Bye.